Hi, my name is Rachel, and if you're seeing this, I'm really sad because Draconathon is over. Okay, now that I'm done being dramatic, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my August wrap up and how I did for all of my prompts for Draconathon. So in August, as I'm sure you know by now, if you're watching this, I participated in a readathon called Draconathon, hosted by Jade from Jade Juniper and Soleil from Soleil Celine, who I'll both have linked down below in the description. So make sure you check them out and give them a follow because they are the creators of this awesome readathon. The first book I'm going to talk about is my Buzzword Readathon Challenge book from last month. And the word for last month was having like in the title. So I read Song of Silver, Flame Like Night. Unfortunately, this was a DNF for me. I got to 35% of the way through the book, and I think that I think it's fine, but it was definitely very much a romantasy, and I am just not in the mood for that right now. I think I'm a little overwhelmed with just the romance, especially because it was a YA, and I could already see at 35% of the way through, I predicted what was going to happen in the plot, and I predicted like how the romance would play out, and I just felt very confident in those predictions, so I DNF'd it for now. I think I might go back to it in the future because I really liked the way the magic system worked, and there was an aspect to it that I didn't get to explore yet because I DNF'd it obviously, but I think it's fine. I think it was fine. But now that that's out of the way, let's get into the prompts that I had for Draconathon. The first prompt for Draconathon was called Snapdragon, and this was to read a book that featured spells. And for this prompt, I read an arc of The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. This book destroyed me in like 6,000 different ways, and I cried my way through like all but the first 30%. The first 30% really set the scene. It got me excited. I was on the edge of my seat, and then things just kept happening, and I was just crying and crying and crying on and off throughout the end of that book. So if you're new here, The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne is the first book in the series, and it is one of my favorite books of all time. It follows three main characters, and they each live in this place called Vigrith, and they they all serve a purpose in a larger plot that has to do with dead gods being resurrected, children being kidnapped from their homes, sinister plans, betrayal, vengeance, justice, and I just am obsessed with it. It's inspired by Norse mythology. It is very much quintessential Vikings, and I eat it up. I eat that shit up like candy. It's so good. John's writing, John, we're on a first name basis. John Gwynn's writing is so intricate. He has a really meticulous way of building characters up from how you meet them in the beginning, and even though his characters feel fleshed out at the start, he has a really great way of showing each person's interpersonal journey, the emotions that they deal with, the situations they find themselves stuck in, and every time something happens to them, like good or bad, they always change and grow from those situations, and he just is so good at making these characters feel so real. And the way that he writes fight scenes is almost like a well-oiled machine where there are like so many moving parts, and you can like go to one part and see that POV, go to another part and see that POV, and it's kind of like this gyroscopic dance of like shields and swords and blood and gore, and there's just such an art to his writing that I find so easy to just absorb myself in. There were so many days that I wanted to just sit and read for hours and hours, but I was really busy at the first half of this month. I had a lot of company come visit me for my birthday and my kid's birthday, which I'm super grateful for, but I didn't have a lot of reading time. But boy, was I thinking about this book the whole time, even when I couldn't read it. Obviously, I gave it 5 stars, and it comes out in October. I'll put the exact date right here. It comes out in October. If you're a fan of the Bloodsworn, you are going to love the ending of this trilogy. It was hard. It was hard for me to get through in places, and I certainly wanted to fight John Gwynne in one specific area. So I'm literally gonna cry thinking about it. Don't cry. You're wearing eyeliner. No, but really, like, just thinking about the things that happened in this book makes me feel such a visceral reaction, and it is so rare that an author can have me, like, literally sobbing after the fact when I'm not even reading the book. Like, I'm trying so hard right now to hold in my tears. This book solidified John Gwynne as one of my favorite authors of all time. I would put him right up there with Brandon Sanderson. They are neck and neck as far as skill goes, in my opinion. I do think that they have completely different styles of writing. But yeah, this book really just solidified him as one of my favorite authors of all time. And I put down The Fury of the Gods and I immediately picked up another John Gwynne book right after. So if that tells you anything, then there you go. Oh, I should also say I doubled this up for the prompt, which was called Gardenia, and that was to read a book involving love. And this book absolutely has a lot of found family, like love that way, and also, oh, that's a spoiler, I can't say that, and also familial love, and even just love of yourself. A lot of this book has to do with like accepting who you are, wanting like freedom for yourself and freedom to be yourself. And there are a lot of different forms of love in this book that are not romance. The next prompt was Cherry Blossom, and this was to read a book that either featured nature or had nature on the cover. To Shape a Dragon's Breath does have trees ever so faintly in the background on the cover, I'm pretty sure, and it also featured nature at the beginning. Hi, it's Editing Rachel here. I totally went into my thoughts about To Shape a Dragon's Breath without giving a synopsis. I have the synopsis up on the screen here for you, and I will just read it. The remote island of Masquapog has not seen a dragon in many generations until 15-year-old Anacus finds a dragon's egg and bonds with its hatchling. Her people are delighted, for all remember the tales of days when dragons lived among them and danced away the storms of autumn, enabling the people to thrive. To them, Anacus is revered as Nempesha Wayasit, a person in a unique relationship with a dragon. Unfortunately for Anacus, the English conquerors of her land have different opinions. They have a very specific idea on how a dragon should be raised and who should be doing the raising, and Anacus does not meet any of their requirements. Only with great reluctance do they allow Anacus to enroll in a proper English dragon school on the mainland. If she cannot succeed there, then her dragon will be killed. And this story is about resilience and culture and being true to yourself and, you know, doing your best to survive and fit in where you have to, but not assimilating and not like losing yourself to these colonizers that are trying to take over. I think Anacus is such an amazing character. She is a spitfire. She is stubborn when she needs to be and strong-willed, and she is so unembarrassed to be who she is, and I think that is such a redeeming, fresh quality to have in a main character. Anacus, from the moment we meet her, she very much is like firm in who she is, and I just think she's so smart and just I just love her. She is really sassy and strong when she needs to be, and she's also really kind and a great friend. She's also a great daughter, and she's very like calm and cool-headed, but also has a few moments where she gets a little hot-headed, and I just love this. So read it. If you haven't read it, read it. I gave it 4 stars. I think I would probably bump it to like a 4.5, and I want to read it again. It's the first in a series, so I'll definitely be rereading it before the second one comes out, whenever that is, because this just came out recently. So no rush, Monoquill, but I loved your book. Can't wait for the second one. And yeah, so check it out if you haven't heard of it, because it's really, really amazing. I need a drink of coffee. Toot. The next prompt I'm going to talk about is Daisy, and that was to read a dainty prompt, which means a book 250 pages or less. So at the beginning of this month, I checked out a book for this prompt, and that is the Tea Dragon Tapestry by Kay O'Neill. And then my husband so graciously gifted me the hardcover box set for my birthday. So here she is in all her beautiful glory. Oh, there's traffic outside my house and they can see me. Let me just hide behind this book really quick. They're looking right at me. Like, yes, I'm talking to a camera holding up a book. Mind your business. Embarrassing. Oh my God, they're looking right at me. I can't do this. I can't do this. This is the third and final book in the Tea Dragon Society series, and this series follows 2 young girls, Greta and Minette, as they go about their journeys discovering tea dragons and what it learns to perform tea dragon husbandry and how to care for these creatures and how to harvest and harness this tea that grows on top of their cute little heads. And It is a queer normative world, and it's very much a book about, you know, finding yourself and finding out what brings you joy. It's very whimsical. It is very just magical. The art is so beautiful in here. I, of course, gave this 5 stars. I love this series. I can't wait to reread it, and I just feel like these books are such a warm, gentle hug when you need it the most. Like, they're just so sweet, and I love them. And the last prompt for Draconathon is called Forget Me Not, and this is to read the oldest dragon book that you have on your TBR. Now, the oldest dragon book that I had on my TBR was Malice by John Gwynne. I have not finished it yet, so technically this prompt is unfulfilled. I am 172 pages in, and I'm loving it. Of course, obviously, obsessed with John Gwynne. So far, this book is about a few different people. We're following a young boy named Corbin as he's kind of dealing with just like, you know, kid stuff, like getting bullied and some bullshit that he's dealing with at home. And we're also following this man called Castell, and he's kind of on a mission, I think. And there's some other people at play here. There's a man called Evnus, and his wife is ill, and he wants to make sure that she can get to a good healer and get better, but he's also kind of like the king's counsel, I think, and so he can't really leave without permission. And lo and behold, shit starts going on in this world. There's like these creatures that are emerging out of nowhere, and you know, worms are starting to reappear, and they haven't been seen for centuries. They have these stones that have started weeping blood, and there are like some other creatures that I won't spoil for you because reading it, it's not on the synopsis at all, and reading it was definitely an experience, so I will leave that very vague for you to discover for yourself if you choose to read it. But so far I'm loving it. Again, I love John Gwynne's writing style. It's been very easy for me to fall into this. I haven't had a lot of reading motivation the last few days because today is August 30th, so the month ends literally tomorrow, and my kid starts school on Tuesday. So this week was really hectic for me, getting him to the doctor's to get a physical, open house, make sure he had all of his school supplies, go school shopping. So it's been a little bit of a hectic week, and I've just had no motivation to read, even though I'm loving this. I've been making sure to read like at least 1 to 2 chapters a night before I go to bed, but there's no way I'm gonna read 500 pages before tomorrow ends. As much as I wish I could. I would love to be able to speed read through this, but I want to take my time and I want to enjoy it, because I know after having just finished the Bloodsworn trilogy that John Gwynne's books are very much a slow build, and there's like always an epic crescendo. There's a clash at the end. So whatever is going to happen in the end of this book, I want to take my time getting there. I have all of the rest of the series though, unlike when I finished The Hunger of the Gods and had to wait for Fury of the Gods to come out. But luckily I got an arc which was literally dragon gods up in the sky blessed me with the dragon arc. I haven't finished it yet, so technically that prompt is unfulfilled, but you know, I attempted. I gave it my best shot. If you participated in Draconathon, I would love to know what your favorite book of the month was, and did you complete all of the books that you set out to read at the beginning of August, or are you like me and you floundered a little bit there in the middle and now you have an unfinished book looming over you? But no, I'm fine finishing it in September. If you've made it this far in the video, leave the fire emoji down in the comments in honor of, you know, fire breathing dragons. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you all had a great month, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.